Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome to the channel. Okay, first card we have out is the Ace of Swords. I feel like you have found the answer to something important here. You could have been like looking for clarity or looking for the truth or just like a clear understanding of something that was going on. Like what I'm seeing is that for some of you, you were feeling like something wasn't clear or like you needed to sit and think about something or that there was a necessity for reflection here. This is like wanting to find answers, but Ace of Swords is more than just an answer. Ace of Swords is like wanting to be able to see the bigger picture. So it can be like, I'm looking to understand this whole situation, or I feel like I don't have complete clarity or maybe objectivity here, and I'm getting that's like the point of this. So if that's something that you're seeking, the advice would be for you to go into hermit mode, which means kind of pulling back into yourself and taking the time to think about this in a clear, grounded space. Maybe a little bit away from everyone else. That's how you're gonna figure this out. Because I'm seeing like the answer is there for you. Whatever this is that you're looking for to understand or to come into focus for you, you're gonna find that as soon as you go into hermit mode. I'm seeing too 5 of Cups and 8 of Swords. And so this can be something that you're like struggling with, something that you're having a hard time with, something that you're feeling sad about, something that you're like really looking back into, because 5 of Cups is kind of like looking back into the past and being like, should I have done this? Should I have done that? Like, why did I do it like this? How come this happened that way? It's like those sorts of things all connected with like not really what's present actually. But those of you that you're experiencing anxiety, it's because you're like projecting back into the past right now. And so as much as it's good for us to process all of that, you want to make sure that you're doing it to process, to come into the present, to bring your consciousness, to bring your awareness into the present. Because some of you, you're experiencing unnecessary anxiety because you keep focusing on the past, and it's nothing that you can do about now, but it's something that's really taking up a lot of your energy, your mental energy. That's not to say that looking back at this stuff isn't important, because it is. I'm seeing something here that you're working back at, that you're working with and looking back at, that you're trying to make sense of here, and you may be feeling like a bit stuck. Seeing this definitely play on your heartstrings a bit here. I will say this, 5 of Cups is stuff that we can't change anymore. So if you're spending energy focusing on things that you can't change, that's something to evaluate and look at. It can be helpful when we look back at something and be like, okay, it happened like this. Like if it happens again, I would do things differently because of this. Like using it so it can help you in the present moment. But if what you're looking back at is not going to help you in the present moment, it's something to evaluate and be like, why am I spending my time doing that if it's not going to do anything for me presently? Because you may find it to be an expensive way to be using your resources. Okay. Feels like you're trying to figure out what you want here. What you want now. I'm hearing specifically. Take the time to look at this. Take the time to look at this. Because there can be other things that you may potentially grab onto that aren't going to be what you want or where you're trying to go. Like, to see Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck with Nine of Cups and Judgment, this is your guides being like, you need to look very closely, like reflect within your heart and be like, what do I actually want here, rather than just automatically going into something else. Because for some of you, this is a pattern where it's like you find yourself in one situation, things happen, and then you're like hopping into the next thing with the Seven of Swords, and then you have to just do this repeat sort of cycle, which I'm getting is not something that you're trying to have. Like, you don't look like you're having a good time here. It's not fun to move through necessarily, to move through this sort of thing. It can be painful, it can be difficult. There's a lot that's being brought up now for you. Like, Nine of Swords is so uncomfortable as well of a position for us to be in, and it can also have you feeling like, I'm recognizing this isn't what I want. So that's why it's important for you to be looking at what you actually do want. Because I feel like this situation that you got into, I think that you looked at it and thought that it was going to be something that it wasn't. And it's because you weren't like fully being like, what do I want? And is this situation that I'm in actually reflective of that? And there may have been an incongruence there. And you like went along with it anyway, kind of like glossing something over. And then you found yourself here, feeling sad, feeling disappointed. This wasn't how I thought it was going to go. I didn't want it to go like this. I wish it went this other way instead. So that's why it's so important for you to not repeat this cycle and hop into something that's like a half-baked idea of what you want. That's why it's so important right now for you to be reflecting on your heart space and be like, what actually is resonating with me as far as like what I'm trying to experience right now. It seems especially on like a level of emotional fulfillment, and taking whatever time it is that you need, whether this be a day or a year or 5 weeks or months, whatever it is for you to actually figure out what that is for you before you hit play again. The emotional aspect of this seems very important. Okay. I'm seeing somebody over here taking time, thinking about what they want and what they're looking for, and even hopes that are connected with this. And it seems to like I'm seeing one person reaching out to another person and asking about seeing one another, like meeting up, hanging out. Three of Cups can speak about reconciling as well. Just depends on the situation that you find yourself in. But I am seeing someone reach out to another person and be like, hey, do you want to get together? So I don't know if you're on the receiving end being like getting this message and then being like, what do I want? Like, is this actually aligned with what I want? Or if you're thinking about what you want and then reaching out to this other person, it can really go either way. What's happening for sure is one person reaching out to another. I just don't know if you're the one. It's going to depend on each of you. You may be the one reaching out. You may be the one receiving this. But something here is happening, definitely. And it seems like after someone's like really been thinking about things. But I'm seeing there also be like anxiety about meeting up and getting together. Pressure, I'm also hearing too. I feel like somebody's too expressing how they're feeling. Like this can be regrets that are being expressed, sadness that's being expressed. What I'm seeing is that it looks like someone starts off more in a solitary space where they may be reflecting more independently, and then it looks like they may want to share that reflection with another person. Or at least that's what's on the table. Yeah, having Five of Cups and having the Knight of Cups can be somebody being like, I don't like the way that this happened, that sort of thing. Okay. Above all, it looks like there is such a clear desire for things to feel stable rather than like grasping. There's more of a like wanting things to feel like a rock. It even feels like there being a desire to stabilize something with another person and to invest in that type of stability. I feel like we're going backwards a little bit. 10 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, Hangman. Okay. So this is somebody that you've been sort of like interacting with energetically. I'm not seeing this be a new situation or a new person popping up. I'm seeing very strong Virgo energy, so we are going to label this as a Virgo reading. I'm seeing something about there being potential for someone to sort of try out a new role or a new position or something like that. Starting off with the Ace of Swords and ending with the Hanged Man can mean that like what one thought was clear before or the answer before, there may be a change that's happening. Like Ace of Swords is generally something that we see as being like an objective truth of some sort, or like the ultimate truth even of some sort. But to end here with the Hanged Man, it's almost feeling like something that one may have seen as objective maybe in the past. They may be realizing like isn't necessarily an objective truth, and they may be adopting like a different understanding of something here. And it feels like that's sort of where things are going, where before someone was like, I think this is what makes sense, and now something else is making sense to them. But it took them looking at it from a different angle in order for this to be realized. It's like how when you have like a 3D shape, if you like, what's a good example? If you look at a pyramid from the bottom, you're going to see a rectangle. If you look at it from the side, you're going to see a triangle. That doesn't mean that it has the rectangle shape or it only has the triangle shape. It's just looking at it from two different angles. Like what you see underneath may be different than what you see from the side. And is one of them any more or less like true to what the pyramid actually is? So I feel like something like this is going on here, where you may have been seeing something from one angle and now there's like an incorporation of something else that is adding to the bigger picture here. But you may have to let go of, oh, because I was seeing it from the bottom, I was only seeing, not a rectangle, I was only seeing a square. Because now something else is being incorporated. So it's like, oh, it's also a triangle too. Like that's also something that's involved in it. It's multifaceted. So it feels like something like that that's going on here. Having Ace of Swords and Nine of Cups and Ten of Pentacles, this is the vibe of somebody feeling very clear of like, I have particular goals that I'm working for, particular end results that I want to be seeing, or like this type of stability is really important to me. Like it can also be about this very deep desire to be resource-wise feeling stable or feeling secure. And having Hermit and having Judgment and having Seven of Pentacles, this is like, what do I need to invest in order to make this happen? So it feels like somebody is like manifesting this vision that they're seeing, and then they're thinking about it and they're like, Seven of Pentacles, what do I physically have to do in order to make this happen? Because I have this idea of what I want, so I'm seeing like this end result, this goal here. So now when I reflect on it and I look at it, what do I need to do? What grounded steps do I need to take? What do I need to invest in order to make that come to fruition? So someone's like breaking down how they're going to manifest this. Then I'm seeing something else going on here where I'm seeing Five of Cups and I'm seeing the Knight of Pentacles and I'm seeing Six of Pentacles. And this looks like somebody being like, hey, I regret the way that this happened and now I'm offering you this and I hope that it's enough. Like, I'm sad about how things happened back there, Five of Cups, and Knight of Cups is like bringing this to another person. Six of Pentacles is what's being offered. Like, I can offer you this. Is that enough for you? Because it's about that exchange. Like, if I give you this, can you give me that? Like, if I'm offering this to you, can this be enough? Can this be what you want? It feels like asking if it's enough for somebody. And I'm seeing there being anxiety about, like, I feel like this Knight of Cups here is saying, like, is this enough? And also, like, can we maybe hang out to discuss this? Or can we meet up to discuss this? And then I'm seeing Eight of Swords and Three of Cups. So there can be, like, anxiety about that meeting point with that person. But then also having the Hanged Man as well. Like, what one may think is going to happen going into this, something else different may happen. Like, you may go into something with a particular intention and think one thing is going to happen and then something else ends up happening. It's just the feeling. Hanged Man is like, you may not be seeing all of the pieces there yet, or all of the possibilities, or all of the angles. And it can also mean, like, I thought we were hanging out for this reason and we actually ended up doing this when we were hanging out. Or I thought that we were gonna, do this, we ended up doing that. Something like this. Or I thought it was gonna be, the vibe was gonna be like this and it ended up being like that. This sort of thing. It can also be too, like, I thought we were gonna reconcile to get back together and we actually reconciled to sort of get closure about this, you know? Like, it can be that sort of thing, just to give an example, okay? I'm seeing other strong earth placements. So even if, I mean, we were also only seeing Virgo here, but I'm feeling somebody like very strong King of Pentacles vibes. So this would be somebody that they may perceive themselves as being like a bit of a provider, or they may take their job or roles that they play very seriously, or like stability and like patience and like moving slowly, stuff like that, methodically. Those sorts of things are like values of someone involved here, okay? All right, my friends, we're gonna leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.